That's a cool way to start an episode, right? Joining the 5K club. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode. I was going to say a Fullcraft. I've been playing too much Fullcraft, man. Welcome back to Hermitcraft. The last episode was number 666 with my good old friend, Mr. Evil X, who I was glad to resurrect and bring into a very different style of episode, a mini cinematic. You know what I'm going to say? If you ain't seen episode 666, you need to go watch it, because crazy amounts of time and research and recording and editing went into that thing. There's also a behind the scenes video on my second channel. In fact, right now, I'm going to be basically plugging that episode. Go and watch it if you haven't seen it. Go to the second channel, watch the behind the scenes if you haven't seen that and you want to. And also, I'll put a playlist in the description box down below for Evil X related episodes. That is not the first time he has come onto the Hermitcraft server. There's been a few incidents in the past as well. And I just wanted to say, I put over 50 hours, hands down, into that episode. About 30 in the 3 days leading up to its release, and about another 20 in the past doing research, figuring out how to mix Doom and Minecraft together, you know. I was actually going to try and mod the game myself, that being Doom, but then I actually found that someone else had already done the Minecraft thing with it. Now, I've already been recording parts of this episode, actually, which is kind of strange, and I'm just coming back from our witch farm, and I'm bringing lots of flowers with me, which are dyes, which I'm going to dump into here. We're going to fill this thing up, and we're never going to have to worry about needing light blue dye again, which is pretty cool. Also, touching on the last episode as well, quite a few dislikes on that, which I found kind of interesting. Some people actually don't like the break from the norm, and so we're back to the norm, so hopefully you're happy with that. One thing I want to make real clear, my style of humour is deliberately goofy, silly, cheesy, whatever you want to call it. I got some comments from some people saying like, oh, the acting is so cringy. Yeah, that's kind of the point. That's kind of why it's funny to me, you know, because it doesn't take itself too seriously. Anyway, things have been changing here on YouTube, and I want to ask you guys a question regarding your viewership of this series. So it's going to be pretty simple. Out of the last 4 episodes, how many of them have you watched? The 4 before this one, how many of those did you get around to watching? There'll be numbers on your screen. Leave a vote. As always, I appreciate that feedback. Just something that I'm curious about. So do a vote, click on a button, and help old X out. Anyway, as I said, I was over at the witch farm, so we're going to jump over to what I recorded earlier. So here we are over at the witch farm. I've spent an absolute ton of time over here AFKing, gathering lots of materials. As you can see, we've got chests of this stuff. I say chests, you know I mean shulker boxes. And right here, loads and loads of sticks. Now, we've got to be looking at this stuff like it's fuel. We can carry that back to our base, and it's going to smell a ton of stuff for us, which is fantastic. I've also been thinking this is an opportunity to tinker around and see if we can make some sort of fast unloading system. I love the sound of that. So we'll probably mess around with some hopper minecarts like we've got here, putting those below the shulker box and seeing if there's a fast way to pull those out of there. We're going to leave this here though, because I'm actually going to do some caving in the area. I'm going to go look for some caves that haven't been lit up and try and get the efficiency all the way there. However, when there ain't other players online, this thing is absolutely crazy. However, a moment ago, I just took a trip through the nether portal here and found something interesting. There's this on the side, and I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting. What is this about? And I was thinking it might lead us to Hermit Hallows, because that's been a thing recently. If you haven't seen Iskau and Mumbo's videos, they did a little Halloween pranky thing, or whatever you want to call it. And I thought this is where this portal is going to lead to. Now, it doesn't link up to anywhere else. There is a flint and steel here, which is a very good idea if ever your portal gets blown up somehow. You've got one of those nearby, so you can relight it. But when we go through here, you might notice a couple of things. I'm going to let you notice them. I'm going to tell you where exactly it is that we are at. We are at TFC's base. I had no idea he was so close nearby. This is his castle, by the way. There is a lot of stuff going on around here, that's for sure, and a lot of stuff underground. TFC is old school. He loves to dig underground and do his branch mining, so you can bet that there is a massive branch mining network down below. But I know what many of you are thinking, the grass. What's going on with that? Why does that look different? Well, I finally got around to updating my Vanilla Tweaks resource pack, which is kind of crazy considering that, you know, I started the whole Vanilla Tweaks thing. And one of the other things that I've now added, oh my god, I've been meaning to do this for so long, Do you see what's different about the planks? Probably not, because each one of these planks has been very subtly changed one to the next. Like a few pixels have been moved here and there. And I love it. It's so subtle you wouldn't really notice it, but it does take the repetitive nature of the texture out of there. And yeah, I was just thinking about those two textures. That one there is really cool as well. Yeah, so I'm enjoying Vanilla Tweaks. I've updated it. They'll probably be one or two more surprises for me, things that I've forgotten about. But right now, I'm going to head back over to the witch farm and do some caving. That was a pretty good session. Spent about an hour lighting up some ravines, which are a real pain in the butt because they got those ledges up the top, right? You've got to go all the way around there with your torches. But I also found some diamonds while I was out there. 23 diamond ore. Not so bad if you ask me. And now we can pack up and we can head out of this area.
Hey, Azuma.
Hey, Scar, how's it going?
Not good. It's going okay until I got blasted off that. It was a once in a lifetime shot for a skeleton to land me in like a 2x2 hole of like lava, and I went down. I was like, I can't find the hole again.
There's snipers these days, man. Dinnerbone buffed them up big time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was just recording, waffling away, and then I look at my chat after, and you've drowned in lava. I'm like, oh dear. Dude, you look like a guy who needs help right now. Just as soon as I see you standing there with like no armor on, it's like, oh, someone's had a bad time. You know, unless you're Rendog. Rendog's always walking around without armor on.
Well, I like now the elytra gives like a little like bit of our skin, you know, because when you just like are fully clad in diamond, like you can't see your unique skins and stuff.
So yeah, these shulker boxes and these chests are my junk chests. So take whatever you need.
Okay. Oh, perfect.
You know, take a couple of picks, combine them together, whatever. You know, like I don't use
those.
Oh,
perfect. Thanks. Oh, this is awesome.
Yeah, I basically haven't died and lost any of my items like pretty much all season long. So like I'm still wearing the same gear, and because it's got mending, like I don't need anything else. Like diamonds don't craft with them or anything anymore. I also got something else you definitely want over here.
I'm at 130 deaths.
You're rubbing it in, Ishoma.
I sort of am. I'm aware that I am, but it's still a thing. I don't know.
Mending definitely helps out.
I think the real thing is that like I'm playing on a mycelium island, right? And I build farms, so I don't really need to go caving for anything, and I'm in a place where there's no mobs 99% of the time. You know, so it's sort of like I'm playing peaceful over here.
I'm playing peaceful over here.
I'm gonna take this opportunity to update this map, by the way.
Oh yeah, your spy map.
Yeah, spy map.
Spy map.
And now it looks 1 or 2 pixels have changed. That's what it looks like.
Woo! Yeah. I have been able to see. I've been able to see your biomes come up as you've been building those.
Yeah, there's like oh my goodness me, it's what like maybe definitely less than a quarter, but
yeah, yep.
Maybe like a fifth done so far. It's slowly going to change all the way around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, I'm totally ready.
All right, awesome. So I'm hiring Cub to what's your shop called again? I feel bad, I can't remember.
Splash of color.
Splash of color. Yeah, I need a splash of color. So I'm trying to think of the best way there. Just down here is probably the quickest.
Okay.
All right, so welcome to the second floor. I'm going to fill this place up with various rooms. Let me show you what I've done already. I mean, you don't have to stick to the theme. You can go ham and do whatever you want, but this is... Get out of here, bat. This is my, like, generalized theme. So this is my map room before and after of this place. You can see the biomes in detail there. Then the next room over is my food room. So this is where all my food comes through to. If you're ever hungry, you can grab something from here. There's also leather.
Yeah, wow. Nice.
Then we've got an entranceway. There's going to be another room here for another food farm. Then there's a little hallway. And just over here is where I want to have a jukebox room. So I've got a record farm farming all the discs. And then this area here, you can basically go ham with. Now, I've dug it out so you can see, like, you can't go lower than this or higher than up there because there's other stuff going on. But otherwise, you can pretty much do what you want in this area. And the only request that I have really is that there's item frames with all, is it 13 of the records? Is it 12?
Let's see. It says 12 item frames for me to hang on my collection. So I think there's 12. Right?
Is that what I put in my order? Okay.
Yeah.
If it's 12, then it's 12. Yeah. So, yeah, that's the only thing I really want displayed in there. And then.
Okay. Do you want the color pattern, the color scheme, to be similar to what you have already in the base?
Not really. I think you should just use your inspiration and put something wonderful and colourful in there. Basically, go ham, do your thing.
Sounds good. Sounds good, man. Yeah.
All right. Awesome.
All right.
Thanks for coming by and checking it out. I cannot wait to see what you come up with.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I'm gonna have to do a little bit of research, but I think I can make something awesome here.
It's going to be fascinating to see what Cub will do with that area. Cub has quite the reputation for doing some interesting things in this game, that is for sure. But over right here, we're going to turn our attention to this furnace system, and I've actually rebuilt this a handful of times already in this series. I think both in episodes and on a stream as well. And we're tearing it out yet again. But this time I'm very confident we'll be able to create the system that I'm looking for, as we're going to have a large supply of sticks as our fuel for smelting items. And I think that's going to make sorting out, getting all of the fuel into the furnaces nice and easy. So we will have some sort of unloading system we got to build, and then it's all going to go into the furnaces automatically, and then we'll have an output system. Currently it's this chest. You can see that I've been up to a lot of stuff, smelting some glass and other materials. We need to move this right now. We need to go put it in like another location temporarily. I've also got this chest which has just been lying here for ages, and there's some valuables in here, a beacon and a never start. I really need to sort it out, don't I? If you look at my hotbar, you can see more of the contents of vanilla tweaks. We've got minecarts on hoppers that look like they're 3D world counterparts, or whatever you want to say. So we're going to end up with a chain of hoppers leading into a dispenser. This dispenser's role is to put the shulker box there, and then to have the items collected and moved into the system. Now what I wanted to make was some sort of rapid unloading system, and my experiments have unfortunately led me to the conclusion that this is kind of impractical, and I'm going to explain why exactly. But first of all, we need to make some hopper minecarts, and I need to demonstrate the properties of these, because these can actually move items really, really fast, and I can't help but feel one day Mojang are going to come along and classify this as an error. But if we put a minecart hopper there and we place a shulker box above it, it's going to move the items out of here very quickly, and you can see that right here. So using a minecart hopper might sound like a great idea, but the problem then is that basically it's going to go into a hopper, which is going to limit its speed again. So I had this idea that the minecart hopper could then go across some rails over a whole bunch of hoppers and give them all the items that they need, going straight into the furnaces that we have. But there is another problem, which is that we need to filter out the shulker box and get it back into some sort of output chest. And the problem with that is that if we were to break this with a piston, this hopper here is basically going to pick that shulker box up every single time. It is not going to make its way through into this hopper. It is going to be in there, or now down in the item hopper down below. And that's a problem, because we need to filter these back out. And the way that we're going to do that is by filtering the other item, which is sticks. So in order to get our shulker boxes back, we have to run everything through a filter, meaning that we can't use this minecart hopper going back and forth unless we want to build a ridiculous amount of filters, which would kind of be overkill. So unfortunately, we're not going to be able to take advantage of that fast unloading mechanism, because it may unload fast, but then it's going to be throttled by the hoppers, and it interferes with the automation of getting our shulkers back. This is going to be a big old furnace array. There shall be at least 4 hoppers for every furnace, and we've got 12 on this side. We're going to have 12 on that over there. 24 in total. Is going to be absolutely mad. And then we're going to have our chest in the middle here for collecting all of the items. Now I think one chain of hoppers should be able to support 12 furnaces. If not, it might get backed up a little bit, but I think what we'll do for neatness sake is have it so that they're split into groups of 6 like this, right? And we might even lower this down again, actually, because this is level with the floor, and it means the hoppers here are going to be kind of visible. But that's where the output from the furnaces will be laid out. Behind them, what we're going to do is have hoppers pointing into the furnaces, as you would do to get the fuel in there. And the way that we're going to load the fuel is not by rationing it out evenly between all of the furnaces. We're going to have so many sticks coming into this system that we really don't need to worry about it. So we're literally going to have a chain of hoppers like this. And it means that the first one in the chain is going to fill up the furnace, then it's going to fill up the hopper behind it, and then the items will flow through to the next one. So if the loading system is going to be somewhere over there, it's going to fill them up in that order coming all the way around. But we're going to have so many sticks available as fuel that it'll eventually fill everything up, and when we go to use this thing, I reckon everything's going to be just fine, as long as we keep it stocked up. Then when it comes to getting our items in that we want smelted, we're actually going to use a minecart here. So this will be a minecart track that goes across, and then it will go around the corner and go across the other side. Wow, this thing looks beastly, and run into a little bit of a problem that I possibly could have avoided had I decided to build everything one block further back. As I say it out loud, I realise that might actually be a good solution to all our problems. So over here, we're going to have the input for our shulker box system. This means that the rail that's going to come down here, originally I was going to run over in this direction, but then it means that our minecart hopper could contaminate this line that's supposed to be dedicated for sticks with other items. So that is not a good place for it to come off. And then the question is where, and I thought about perhaps splitting it so that we have a minecart on either side and then they could come down here and meet in the middle. But it doesn't help you in terms of automation, as there is now no space to add any redstone to get these things rolling automatically. So maybe what we do is we go up and over and back down into this space and build a little something just behind this line here. But look at the space we're working with. We are inching closer and closer to this project, which is where all the villagers with the mob heads are. And of course we can't exactly tear that one out. You gotta bear with me here. This might seem a little bit bonkers, but I've got the solution to all of our problems. We're gonna have some sort of chest here for loading up the system. So we've got like a little drop down again. There'll be a chest there, and it will go to the minecart, which there's only going to be one of now, and you can see there is one track entrance. It's just going to hit me there's a way to do this. So let's pretend we're the minecart going up here. We're going to turn right, and then we're going to go straight ahead. We're going to hit the end, and then we're going to come back down again. Now that means that this track gets loaded up twice, right? Because it goes over it and then it comes back. It's going to do the same when it comes over here. So the distribution is kind of equal. It will go over this track and it will go up there all the way to the end, come back down again, and when it gets here, it's then going to go around this way. And when it gets to this end here, it's also going to skip over that track and come back down here. And that is a terrific solution for our problem, I do believe. Next up is a minecart loader. And I've done this several times in the series in the past, and it's always infuriating, but this time come up with a much better way of doing this. Now you can see the tracks here have changed. That's because we've had to move them down so that we can get this hopper chain going around. I forgot about that. If we do head down to the bottom here though, what I've done this time with our minecart loader is basically add a clock to it. And this clock is overridden by this redstone torch, and that's only going to be on when the minecart there is empty. So if there are items coming from the chest, there is a hopper pointing into it on the other side, that means this torch would turn off. Now we've got a comparator clock here, which I love using. These things are so useful, and when it turns off, it's going to turn itself back on again and also create a pulse. So that pulse will send the minecart up there, and then the delay will start again. Now it might be that it needs a slightly longer delay. I haven't actually watched it from down here. There you go. So it gets back, and I think the timing of the pulse was actually as it arrived back, which is kind of perfect, because now the clock runs again, and then there'll be another pulse, right? But when that minecart runs out of items, this torch will basically turn on. In fact, that torch will be on when the minecart isn't there, right? So when it comes back, then it's going to turn off as it loads up with items. So yeah, it's a pretty awesome system. Like, I like that a lot. It basically just creates a large delay for it to load up with, and then when it's finally empty, this thing is going to stay on, and the clock isn't going to be running. Redstone is an entirely different game when you're doing it in survival in a confined space. You know, a lot of the time, Redstoners are working in like test world environments, and then a lot of that stuff goes out the window when it comes to compactness when you're dealing with restrictions like we are here. And that's why we got some slime blocks, because over here we're going to have a chest where we put in our shulker boxes loaded with sticks, and then the hoppers are going to take them around the back here. And I've had to cleverly weave the redstone as to not to get too close to those hoppers. For example, we can't put a hopper in this space because the redstone points into it, right? But that will eventually come round to here and it will point into this dispenser. So we're going to have our shulker boxes loaded with sticks going into here. Now, a fun piece of information for you, let's say this dispenser was full of shulker boxes and we kept powering it over and over again. It would have one dispenser in front of it, the first one to be placed, and the other ones, they wouldn't get placed, but it wouldn't spit the item out either, which is extremely useful for us. So what we're doing is we're using the same clock design that I just used over in the other circuit, literally the same thing, and applying it here, meaning that when this thing has shulker boxes in, we're going to power it on a slight delay over and over again. So not until this thing is empty is this clock going to turn off, which is fantastic because it means that we're going to keep putting them here. The hoppers are going to take the items out of the shulker boxes and send them off on their way. Now, the other system we need is something to detect when the shulker box is empty, and that's what this block and comparator are doing. They're looking into that shulker box, and then when the thing is... Actually, I might have done this wrong, you know. I got a feeling I've done that wrong. But when the box is empty, this is supposed to power the piston, which will put the shulker box into this bit down below. So all of the sticks and shulker boxes are going into this hopper chain, which currently goes into our output chest. So what we need to do next is add a filter for the sticks, and then move the sticks up above us and put them into that hopper there. And then the system should be finished. I was wrong about this circuit here. I've changed it now and we're using the observer block. I always forget about this one, you know, new things, easy to forget about. I'm turning this into a stair block so that the redstone here doesn't power that piston. It's only powered by this side. Now let's get that. Oh, that's not what's going on then there. Actually, what is going on? Are we powering the observer block, which is powering the piston? Maybe if I just change that to a regular block, that'll solve everything. Let's try again, okay? Yeah, that's what we're looking for. Okay, so when the shulker box is dispensed and it's put here, this is going to be full strength because the shulker box is going to be full. And that is what happens when this thing is full strength. Now, when it's empty, that redstone is finally going to turn off, and that activates the piston. So hopefully, that's all good. I think maybe there could be like an odd timing with this thing and that piston firing at the wrong time, and maybe something that's just been dispensed gets sent out again, but I really don't think that's the case because this piston only fires once. Yeah, I think we're good here. I think we're good. So let's hook up the filter for the sticks. I really should have recorded this on camera. Just did a little test. At the moment you can see the sticks are coming through, which is fantastic. They're going into the furnace over here. So what they'll do is they'll fill that up, then they'll back up the one behind it, and then they'll make their way into the next one. So there will be a lot of stacks just sitting around sort of not doing anything, but that's absolutely fine. That's the way we want our system to work. Had to do a little redesign over here, realised that some of the redstone was pointing into the hoppers, so now this thing's a little bit more compact. It means that the hoppers here are a bit more direct as well. I need to put some droppers on top of them to reduce impact on the server, and I tested this by sending through a shulker box with a few items inside of it, and it did the job just fine. So right now this thing is going to get activated every so often by that redstone torch, and they're not going to go into the space in front of them, of course. And then when the shulker box there is empty, this thing retracts, we remove it, another pulse comes from this clock over here, and another one gets placed down, and we are unloading it all the time, which is just fantastic. And the shulker boxes go to our output chest at all, which is really, really nice. So the thing that we're left with now is just decoration. We got to decorate the place. I made a fatal mistake back here. I assumed the hopper would put the items into the minecart chest. We were just using a minecart to test, and you can see this thing is going around and dropping off the cobblestone. Wow, it picked all of it up very quickly there. And back round it comes again. So I think it had like 4 stacks and 20. And yeah, 48. Which I believe is putting 2 items into everything on each run. would be the maths, right? Anyway, so everything here has been lowered down by 1 block, and that works just fine. Over here, this system is working absolutely fine, bar one little thing. I was counting the sticks going into the system, and I realised that we hadn't got a shulker box back. Well, you can see there's one there. I believe there's one stuck here as well. This is kind of unusual. I don't understand what is causing the items to go through slower here. That torch turns on for a moment every now and then, but otherwise you can see it gets backed up here. And the backing up starts with that hopper. I don't know why it would do that. So that's a little bit of a problem. And I did say we'd do some decorating. I've just finished, like, you know, going over it, revising it, and now everything works just fine. In fact, when this thing goes around, we should be able to see that some of the furnaces are lit up. Yep, that's awesome, and this is as far as the sticks have gone so far. It's got on a bit dark and dim over in this corner. I think a nice place to put a light source would be just there. We can power that. It shouldn't interfere with anything behind it. Have a lamp there. Have a matching one over in this corner as well. And it's the same dealio. There's nothing behind it blocking it. Awesome. And that's just kind of right, I think. That's a nice spot to put it. Okay, then going into this area, we've kind of created a low ceiling thanks to these blocks going across the front here. They don't actually have to be like that now that I think about it, but I like the idea of seeing up into this space. And so originally what I did is I actually put the height of these blocks 1 block lower, but then it feels a little bit much it being so low. So we probably actually won't go with that, but I think I'll mess around with taking these things out here as well. A job well done. I found myself messing around with the cha-cha wood, kind of overthinking it, and then I sort of looked at what was already here, took these slabs, moved them down to there, had this patch, and I was going to add a light source, but actually I kind of like the way that it's lit. I do like the balance of light and dark in our base. Sometimes it gets a little too dark, but here it's just about right. It's got a nice vibe to it, although I will say I can't help but feel a couple of these. Now I'm not in the right place to place them, am I? But a couple of these here, just blocking this bit off, will look. I make life difficult for myself sometimes, peeps. Now I've got to break this and go up there, which is actually not so bad because I want to show you what's up here. I've decided to power those rails with levers so we don't have to have some redstone torches on display, and then I've gone and filled in all of the gaps and around here a little bit as well. Maybe adding those up here isn't such a bad idea also, and that's just going to mean that when you look in to those gaps from down below, there's less back-end area stuff to say. I'm getting myself into a kerfuffle here. Getting all sorts of lost in this back area. So let's just quickly go around to the front, have a look at it from the last time. Yeah, I'm going to copy that onto that side, and then when you look down into those gaps, you don't really see anything, which is really cool. And you can see as far as the sticks have gone now, because when they go to a new furnace, they start to smelt the cobblestone that's in there. I heard this thing popping off, and then I just thought, if it's getting backed up down below, where's that shulker box going to go? Just pick that one off of the ground. So this system is flawed because of this strange backup that we have occurring here. It means, yeah, that the shulkers can potentially despawn. In fact, they're going to be the thing that despawns if this is filled up, because it causes it to go up above. Has it actually placed another one? Because now there's no sticks going into here. This block isn't being powered, is it? Don't think it is. So I've moved this thing, this hopper, over to there, and now the sticks flow through it correctly. So for some really odd reason, having it there meant it would back up. In theory, it won't do that now. We don't need this dropper here as well. We're going to put a regular block there. Alright, welcome hermits to my base. Have a look around. Do you like the look of this place?
Beautiful. Absolutely
Nice.
beautiful.
You know,
It is a cool looking place.
I've got a bit of a problem here. It's like, it's the middle of the day, yeah, but it's kind of like dark and gloomy in places. So strange.
It's weird.
Yeah,
how it
it's really
happens,
odd.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I
it's a bit
can't
odd.
wear that out.
I brought you all here to play a game though. Who likes games? This is going to be a fun one, I think. I
That'd
hope.
be me.
Yeah.
What we're going to do is if you look up into the sky and if you've got a cheaty zoom key, there's some Iscalium all the way. Oh, I did it again. Iscal, curse you. There's
I don't
some
know what you're talking about.
there's some slime blocks up there, right? I thought it would be fun to have a race to see who could get those slime blocks first, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I know what you're
Okay.
thinking. Aha, I got my rockets, got my ender pearls. Not allowed to use any of that stuff. No jump boost, no rockets, no ender pearls, no elytras. Who
Okay.
can get up there the first? Does that sound reasonable?
I mean, that sounds pretty good to me. So no
Sounds doable.
potions,
I like it.
nothing.
Not sure
Okay.
about reasonable, but it sounds fun.
Yeah, and it's not going to be fair because I know that some ways up there are going to be tougher than others, right? So in here,
Perfect.
there's going to be a side of the island that you go to start. And
look at this guy.
one of those is
Prepared.
basically going to be a little bit trickier than others. So feel free to press the button and grab a side.
Right, who wants to go first?
I'll go first. I'll go first.
So there are 5 of us and 4 blocks in there, right? Just checking.
Oh, I'm not participating.
Oh,
you
you're
know?
not participating? Okay.
You know that. I mean, I put the Escalium there. So, I said it again. I'm gonna. If I say that again, I'm gonna throw myself in lava.
It's called green stuff.
Yeah, green stuff. All the way up
Right,
there.
so I've got the west
I
side.
got east side.
Okay, so
North
you know
side.
where you're going. Right, this is where I need to
got
change
south.
to my camera account, so I'll help you to your starting positions. Okay, Tango, you're pretty much in the right spot.
I'm at Y75. Should we all start on that roughly? Or?
False, you're pretty
I'm on
much
I'm on
at a
Y64.
decent spot.
Should I go to 75?
This ain't about being fair. This is just, you know, I see Mumbo's being tactful here, but Mumbo's probably
No,
got.
I want to be on Y75.
Yeah.
Oh, you stand there then. You probably got the tougher side of all, and
Oh, good. Good, brilliant.
and then Cub fan. Oh, so everyone's basically in a correct position, and I'm gonna fly around in the sky and like check out your progress. So for everyone else, it's kind of like if they want to go see the actual, you know, head over to your videos. Basically, you know how it works.
All right.
All
That
right.
sounds good to me.
I think everyone understands the concept of everyone here makes videos.
Jump
So-
I think
get to the
maybe,
top.
potentially.
Right, I'll do a countdown. 3,
Mm-hmm.
2, 1, go. And
I'm
they're
not
off.
100% certain the place that I actually started in is possible to
no.
go up.
This is tough. This is already.
difficult.
This is tough, yep.
I said Mumbo had the tough side.
If I win this,
It's all tough.
Mumbo's actually doing extremely well so far.
it's all luck. It's all luck.
Okay,
I'm
this
just
is
kind of jumping and
fascinating.
pointing my mouse.
I'd say Tango's probably. Oh, I don't know. It's really close. Every time I spin around, it's like. Oh, now Mumbo's lagging. Mumbo's lagging. Cub fan was accelerating there.
I've hit a rough spot.
False is
Yeah, I'm-
accelerating.
Is
Okay,
anyone being
Tango's
strategic
dropping
here, or are
back.
they like? Has anyone picked a route?
No.
Just
It's just
going
super
up.
jumpy.
Oh, I got a good
Okay.
spot. I got a good spot. I'm going up fast. Oh,
I'm
This
not.
is
I'm
interesting.
Oh, I'm stuck.
Mumbo's found an easy bit. That's gonna.
Not.
I have found. Yeah, this is a
Oh,
swift
False is
zone.
killing it. False is
Oh, but I
like Tango.
found-
Look up. You can see False.
What?
Yeah, I've come around your side a little bit. I'm sorry.
How did I know False would somehow find a way to win?
Oh wow, this is crazy cool right now. Oh man, Cub
I'm
and
the
Mumbo
worst
can
jumper
see
ever.
each other.
No.
oh, hello.
How have I managed to get over here?
Oh, I found a bad spot.
This could be anyone's game right now.
I'm going down.
I assume there's no like battles on the mountain. Like we can't like.
Yeah,
shoot
no
other players.
you can't
PvP, no
punch me off.
PvP.
Okay.
Oh wow, oh wow.
So hard to
Okay,
find a way up.
well done,
It wasn't
Mumbo.
me.
Oh.
Mumbo
Oh,
first,
good
Cub
job.
second.
Well
Oh, you guys are up already? Come on.
Well done, sir. Well done.
Oh my word!
Third and fourth are
this
still up for it. I thought
This is
Mumbo had the
impossible.
harder side of all.
Yeah, but see, I was maybe a little bit cheaty in that I just kind of came over to Cub fan's side
Well,
and
you
then just
can
went
go
up
any
there.
route you want, really.
Okay.
Nice.
There's no rules.
Man,
You
I'm just
covered a lot of
constantly
ground.
finding
Oh, wow.
impossible ways
Yeah.
to get up here.
That
Went
was
around the
awesome.
mountain. It's amazing.
I was just kind of jumping around, hopping about. I
Alright,
wasn't
I'm
really
done.
doing anything
Oh,
particularly.
false for third and Tango just gives up.
Oh, finally.
I like it. Oh. Well,
Nice.
thanks for playing, peeps.
Nicely done, guys.
Your
That was cool.
prize
That was
is the I was about to say it. I'm not going to say it. Slime blocks.
Alright.
There we go. I've got to reprogram my brain for that one.
There.
Freaking this now.
I mean, I actually needed some of these, so this is good news. This is perfect for me.
Oh, dude,
Oh, well-
there's loads down below. Take what you need from my chest, man.
Yeah, if you need slime blocks, just let me know.
That's true. Yeah. I feel like I should have asked. Yeah, it's true.
Thanks ever so
That
much
was, like,
for
the most
playing.
long-winded way to get slime box.
As I was saying earlier, there's probably more games we can play in this area down here. I've got some ideas brewing, you know. So I'll be sure
this
to
drop
invite you
zone
back in
here.
the future. The furnace system is all finished, just in case you're wondering. There's been a little bit of back and forth with fixing some redstone, and by the looks of it, I might want to put some blocks behind the hoppers, to cover things up, but that's something I'll probably just get done sometime during a live stream. It's been a good project. It's an important bit of infrastructure now we can properly smelt stuff really fast, and I need to go do some more AFKing over at that witch farm, which is going to be even more efficient. But anyway, that is it from me this episode of Hermitcraft. Do hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, leave a like on the video. Thank you for your support, and I'll see you in the next one. So ciao for now. Bye bye.